The first time I saw a fox was when I was in Hackney with my friend Rosemary. We were walking through a park after midnight to a pub called the Cat and Mutton. We were talking to distract ourselves from the fact that it was dark and there was no one around. I felt something run across the path more than I saw it. At the last second, I turned my head and saw 2 black feet and a white fluffy tail leap over a fence and disappear. The creature moved like a cat, but was the size of a small dog with a hint of orange. It was a fox. The next time I saw a fox was months later in Camden. This time I was stumbling home from a pub far too late at night. I felt the same graceful, cunning movement come into my field of vision. This time I could feel it was a fox. I saw its orange fluffy coat illuminated by the streetlights before it slipped into the night, and I wanted to see more. But I didn't want to stalk actual foxes. I wanted more of that feeling of seeing something sacred and rare and strange. Because I seem to attract foxes when I'm slightly inebriated, I thought I would look for them at a pub. The Fox and Hounds is on a sleepy street in Chelsea, away from all the noise and shopping. At first glance, it looks like a traditional 19th century pub that tourists would love. But there are hints of foxes hiding in plain sight that pay homage to the spirits that roam the streets. Tucked away in the back is this fake taxidermy fox head that reminds me of something I would see in a natural history museum. Maybe that's where I should look next. I thought there would be a lot of red foxes in the Natural History Museum in Kensington. Instead, there were really old things. There were reptiles and amphibians. There were animals a London fox has never seen before. There were animals a fox would probably hunt. There were animals that foxes probably dream of hunting. There was a full moon the fox might look to on a lonely night. There were stuffed foxes in the gift shop that no one seemed to want. I thought that surely there would be a red fox in the mammal section. I did find a case of canines who were close relatives to the fox: the Ethiopian wolf, desert creatures like the fennec fox, and the bat-eared fox. Finally, I found the only red fox in the museum. In a dimly lit corner on the top floor, a lone fox was perched on a stylized display about urban wildlife. The fox looks hungry, for prey or safety or privacy or something nobody knows. It made me wonder who else might have wandered around London in search of a fox. British poet Ted Hughes published his poem The Thought Fox before he lived in this townhouse with his wife Sylvia Plath. Using the metaphor of the fox, he describes the birth of a creative idea. He writes, "I imagine this midnight moment's forest, something else is alive beside the clock's loneliness and this blank page where my fingers move." He describes the fox coming out of the forest through the snow until he ends by writing, "With a sudden sharp hot stink of fox, it enters the dark hole of the head. The window is starless still, the clock ticks, the page is printed." If Ted Hughes were living here now, I wonder if the thought fox would come to him. I wonder if he would sit by the window and look at the overpriced gift shops across the street as the thought fox was lurking nearby. I wonder if the vegan restaurant on the corner would drive away the thought fox who was hungry for meat. I wonder what other writers were able to catch the thought fox, despite all the noise. I went to the Lewis Carroll Children's Library in Camden because foxes are a staple in children's literature, usually to illustrate evil or mischief. I searched through all the stacks of books full of every kind of animal imaginable. There were some foxes hidden on the shelves, but they were rare. First, I found a cliché picture book about a sly fox who tries to kill a chicken for dinner. Another picture book tells a simple story of a baby fox getting lost in the woods after he refuses to go home with his mom when the sun sets. The best book, however, was for older children. Maybe a Fox tells the story of sisters Jules and Sylvie in tandem with the story of a fox separated from his family. One day, Sylvie goes missing. As Jules stumbles into grief, a fox cub is born, a shadow fox, spirit, and animal in one. The book ends with this paragraph: The fox cub closed his eyes, then pointed his head up to the wide sky glittering and pulsing with light, stretching high above the world, and he keened his grief to the unknown world, a fox crying for his sister. London foxes roam the cemeteries at night, partly because they are the few places in a city with grass and dirt. As I looked for fox tracks, I thought of the Mary Oliver poem called Straight Talk from the Fox. Part of the poem reads, "Listen, says Fox, it is music to run over the hills, to lick dew from the leaves. Death itself is a music. Nobody has ever come close to writing it down, awake or in a dream. It cannot be told. It is music to wander the black back roads outside of town, no one awake or wondering if anything miraculous is ever going to happen, totally dumb to the fact of every moment's miracle. Don't think I haven't peeked into windows. I see you in all your seasons, making love, arguing, talking about God as if he were an idea instead of the grass, instead of the stars. What I am, and I know it, is responsible, joyful, thankful. I would not give my life for 1,000 of yours." At the cemetery, I couldn't find any traces of a fox, maybe because spirits don't leave tracks.